Howdy, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Um, Today is September. Is it September? Yeah, it is. Tuesday, September 25th, 2023. And welcome back to my YouTube channel or TikTok. And today, guys, what I wanted to talk about um, is something that I like to call narcissistic language. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that, and I'll try not to take up too much of your time today with this video, and bear with me. My car, I still, my AC still doesn't work, so I need to get that fixed up. The compression. But I saw an opportunity to make a video, and I was thinking about you guys, and I've been wanting to do this, and it's been on my mind. It's been in, what I'm about to talk about, narcissistic language. It's been on my skull for a little while now, and I want to talk about it, shed light on it, speak up, and encourage everyone on this matter. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it, y'all, is because, as you guys know, I'm very old school. Okay, for those of you who do know me, and if you haven't noticed, I'm a pretty old-fashioned guy. I'm an old soul, and I've always been that way. Ever since as long as I can remember. I remember being a little kid. I got along better with animals and adults, and I still do, to be honest, a little bit. Of course, I've grown, and there's no denying that there's value in hanging out with people that are the same age as you, because you're able to better relate to them. You know what I mean? But anyways, narcissistic language. Back in the days, from what I know, from my knowledge, people, there's pros and cons, right? Um, when it comes to the modern day versus the antique world of back then, of the 80s, 70s, 50s, 60s, even 90s, and at this point 2000s. Bear with me, heartburn. And yeah, it's a very serious issue, and it's very important to talk about it. And here's what my encouragement is to each and one of you, is that for one, just acknowledging and meditating upon the truth, seeking the truth, and once you find that truth, the absolute truth, to meditate upon it and to embody it and carry it out. And independence, you know, indi- bear with me, individuality, independence, and freedom are very important, and are very real, and are very true, and very much exist. And we can't escape that no matter what, right? Um, I came into this world on my own. Um, and hey, the very fact that I have a skin that protects me from the outer external world is already evidence that I am a separate individual myself. And that's what we're called to. The Bible talks about it. A lot of times it talks about both um, matters on groups, and it also talks about you as an individual, as a separate soul and breath of God that's living, a living soul, human, mind. Um, and so it appears to me, and that has come to my attention, that we live in an age where so much selfishness has been encouraged. Um, Again, out of the lack of balance of life, it's been encouraged to, controlling behavior has been on the rise. Narcissism has been on the rise. Being selfish has been on the rise. For example, if you really think about it, Instagram, its original purpose was for that app to be a photography platform, but now people use that as a way to kind of brush how good their life is in front of your face, even though they're low-key broke. A lot of them are, and some of them aren't, and that's fine, and nothing wrong with that. But it's like, are you actually doing that for the experience, for the sake of your experience, and for yourself, and for your sincere, genuine desire to do something? Or are you just living a post? Like, that's terrible. And again, words are powerful, and that's the reason why I wanted to talk about this, because I know for me, whenever I'm talking to myself regarding me, but also when I'm talking about other people, regarding other people and external things, I like to make sure that I like to, maybe I should look at this camera here. I like to make sure, guys, that I'm always addressing them with respect, with kindness, with love, with agape love, which means godly perfect love. I try to embody that, and I try to reflect um, the goodness and truths, absolute truths of life. I try to let that influence my speech. So, for example, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard the phrase, "Can you do something for me?" Me personally, I don't like that because I'm not doing anything for you, right? I'm not, I'm not owned by you. I'm not a slave. Like, no, I'm not gonna do something for you. You know, I'll say I'll do it. You know, or I'm trying to think of examples right now on the spot, but you get my point. Or like when people say, "Oh, I'm not an it," I'm like, you very much are right. Animals and humans are both living creatures with a name, with a story, with a spirit and a soul, in a heart, in a mind, in a physical body, separate individuals. And they're not things, they're not tools. I'm not a tool, I'm not a thing. I am a highly valued child of God, creation of God, living being of God. And so I try to make sure like that freedom, love, independence, and truth are in my speech. So when I address you, I make sure to address you in a way which communicates, that interprets, that reflects, that embodies, um, that you are a separate individual, highly regarded and respected and loved, and that I am also a separate individual, highly regarded, separate, and loved. We have separate lives, sharing life together. This thing we call life together, this experience of being alive together. And so that's just my encouragement. And I'm trying to think of examples of narcissistic phrases, but they're out there. In other words, any phrase, any sentence or speech that implies that you're either owned by something, or that you're an it, or that you're controlled, all those things I would label as narcissistic, because that's what they are, narcissistic words. They're communicating, trying to get a message across about something, right? Because communication is that's part of socialism, right? Sociology, right? But at the same time, there's a healthy way, in my opinion, I would encourage you guys. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, and it's gonna bless you. I'm trying to bless you with this message. I'm sure it's gonna be a blissful message for a lot of people. Especially if you grew up, like, I don't know, in a controlling environment, you'll notice they use these words a lot. And so I try to just not stay away from that. Like, my language is going to reflect the absolute truth of God, the absolute truth of life, and respect every human being for what they are. So I say, instead of we, I try to say you and I. Um, you're not an it. You're not a tool. You're not an object. I'm not controlling you. Or instead of saying, you know, and try not to think too much of this, because if you really think about it, we're all a little bit narcissistic to some degree. Okay, we're all narcissistic to some degree. That's just human nature. But that doesn't mean that everyone is a narcissist or controlling or toxic. But everyone is, including the most selfless people are narcissistic to some degree because of sin, because of our imperfections and faults, and we're just wired to be imperfect, right? But we can try to be perfect, right? And it's not really for God, but for others and for ourselves, because we need that. But God doesn't need it. He's chilling. And he loves us, and he's here to rescue us. And with that, let's just embody that truth, like, instead of saying, go do that, or let's go over there, how about, hey, why don't we go sit over there? Or, hey, feel free to do something, instead of saying, do it, or I'll do that, or, just commanding words of control and narcissism. Instead of that, just I like to imply like, feel free feel free to make yourself at home, or instead of you know behaving in a way where it's like I'm telling you, how about I'm asking you, because I acknowledge that there's nothing that I can do. I have control over myself alone, more power over my own life alone, and I don't have that over you, nor do I want to. Like, I love you and I respect you and life, and so I just wanted to make that video, and I might make another video on this topic, a little bit more furnished video, and better made and cleaner. But I just wanted to make that video really quick. And if you're wondering where I'm at a Catholic church. I'm about to go to confession. But yeah, happy Tuesday. God bless. I love each and every one of you. I hope you guys are having a great day. And here I am in my car, and I mean, yeah, there we are. And go give a punch in the jaw to life for me, huh? So yeah, that's a wrap. But yeah, that's my encouragement. But anyways, God bless. Take care of y'all. Bye bye.